Right now I'm out in the graveyard. I'm waiting for Mike and George to get back. I recently took in a restoration on a 1970 Cuda 446 barrel 4-speed car. Really nice. For all practical purposes, almost looked like a driver type quality. But the gentleman who sent the car to me, his dad had given it to him. So it is here for a complete restoration so that it can look the way it was on the day it was built. But additionally, he had 2 Barracuda convertibles, which I purchased from him at the same time. So right now I'm waiting for him to pull in so I can check out all the hardware. I'm curious, George! Look at that! Look at the lights in those. That's the coolest front end on the planet right there. Those park lamps up in the grill. Back Curious George, always changing teams. You're talking about a Barracuda convertible 70 and 71, the only years they were available in the e-body. You're talking rare stuff anyway. Are they as collectible as a Hemi car? No. You get down to like the Barracuda 318 3-speed, they only made 125 of those cars total. On the blue car, the Grand Coupe, they actually made 381 of those. So still very rare compared to the cars of the day. Oh, the badges are on it. I thought they weren't. I love those. That's the Grand Coupe crest. Look at those wheels. Tell me that isn't 1979. Polyglass tires, 8-inch rims in the back, 7s in the front. Look at the dish on that. Look at that. It's a blue Grand Coupe. The guy added a shaker to it. He put a 383 in it. Originally it was a 318 automatic. In that lineup, they only made like 381 of those cars. So you're talking a very low demographic. And the Grand Coupe gives you all the luxury features. So that's a really neat one. 70 Cuda 446 barrel 4-speed. Oh wow, that's clean. They've unloaded the vehicles, got them out in the middle of the lot, got them started up, running, warmed up. All of them seem to run pretty darn good. I'm gonna grab the team and go around the cars individually, kind of show them some of the little things that I know are the differences between the Cuda and the Barracuda model and that blue Grand Coupe. So this guy added this shaker to this car, but I've looked at it and this is an original shaker. He must have bought it back in the day.
Amazing.
Like the AMD ones that we put on the Phantom Cuda. They're beautiful. They're perfect. They're new metal, but they're subtle, very subtle little differences that tell you, if you look at one, what the differences are. And there's probably more than even I know about, but the first thing I always look at is this rib right along here. See 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spot welds?
Yeah.
If you go pop the hood on the green car, it's got 5 spot welds and 5 spot welds. But if you go take a look at our Phantom, there's only 3.
Wow, okay.
The difference in the metal and the way they stamp them today, you see this wrinkled area right here?
Oh yeah.
The metal had to go somewhere when they stamped it. Today's, they're cut, they're not stamped, so they don't have these. So if you go look at our Phantom, same basic shape, but you don't have these ribs in there.
It's just smooth. It's just
smooth,
rolled right in.
glassy smooth. Yep.
That's really cool. And you can see it even protruding right there too.
Another one is this mark right here. If you feel right there, you have a little bit of a bump from the transition from this and the sheet metal all moving around.
Yeah.
The aftermarket one is just smooth as can be through there. So those are subtle little differences. You see this is smooth here. There's no indentations here. All right, this is a 70 hood. After January 1st, 1970, when the cars were built, the Department of Transportation said, we want those hoods to fold. We don't want them to be that rigid. We want them to fold. Look at this rib right here.
Yeah.
And this rib right here.
To make the hood fold up.
That's 1971 on up.
So what are we doing with these cars? They look like they're already restored?
No, the guys, they're just driver quality, but I'm trying to build up an inventory of cars so that we can have our graveyard motors, our used car lot. People that are buying these cars, let's say it's not somebody who inherited it from their dad. They're just looking for a 68 Roadrunner. Then who's gonna validate the car and make sure that it's a real 68 Roadrunner 383 4-speed car and that it has the right numbers in it and that everything's right? I'm gonna create a 1970s dealership. That's just awesome. Like it was back in 1970. The salesmen have to wear polyester just back, yeah, Cousin Eddie. Selling cars. We specialize in these cars that are for sale out there that we can buy and inventory, validate, make sure it's a real Roadrunner. If it's not a real Roadrunner, then sell it as a non-real Roadrunner. But give people that ability to be able to call us up and say, I'm looking for a 71 Cuda 344 speed car. Well, I don't have any of those that fit that right now. What I do have is I have a 71 Cuda that we can make into a 340. It's just another facet that I'm looking into doing. The 2 Barracudas, some other cars that I bought around here.
So is the green Charger going in this inventory to sell?
Well, thank you for asking, Will. Yes, it is. No, that's funny. It's all funny. But it wasn't for sale before that. No.
Where's mine? You said no, you were going to be buried in that car.
Right.
Rewind.
Right. Hey, whoever buys it's going to have a gun and a mask because it's not for sale. I don't know how many times I have to say that. It's not for sale. It is not
We'll get a picture of it loaded up.
Okay, you know what? Just for that, they'll bury me in the son of a I'm calling my attorney right now, and I'm having it put into my will.
Buried in
I
that
needed
car.
cars for inventory. That's a perfect car for the inventory. This is the way the cars looked when we were in high school. So the ones that we're redoing now, we're redoing for nostalgia purposes to put them back the way they were on the assembly line. But every kid in high school drove a car with great big Kragers or appliance or slotted mags and meats hanging out past the fender wells, chewing up the back of the car. Back then it was all bias ply. These are still bias ply. So this is kind of that look that every kid had when he went to school back in the 70s.
It's awesome, yeah.
A bias tire design allows the tire's body to flex easily, providing a very smooth ride on rough surfaces. However, it came with a significant disadvantage, as the tire would lose control and traction at high speeds. In 1967, Goodyear created the Polyglass tire, which was a bias-belted tire equipped with a wider tread and belts made of fiberglass. It was a safer and more reliable tire design, which began appearing on passenger cars like the Plymouth Cuda in the late 60s. However, the Polyglass tire and its competitors were eventually replaced by steel-belted radials.
This one, the manual top 318 3-speed, this is the entry level. If you wanted the basic, most inexpensive Barracuda convertible on the planet, that's the car. Manual drum brakes, 3-speed transmission, manual top. But then you get over to this car, which is a couple interesting things is, now on the Cuda package, again, this is a BS car. BS is Barracuda, S is special, meaning this is the Cuda, right? Standard on the Cuda in 1970 were these hood pins. Standard. If you got a Cuda, you got hood pins. But these running lamps, these road lamps, factory calls them road lamps, those were standard in the actual Cuda package in 70, whereas in 71 they were optional.
Yep.
The gills, the rocker gills, those are standard on all 70 Cudas on
yep.
a Cuda model. The Grand Coupe standard had a louvered one that you see on there.
Yeah, it's got the ribs that
And then the
run over
Barracuda would have had nothing there. Hello ghouls, Mark Warman here, the Ice Tray from Graveyard Cars. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it, drop a comment down below, and subscribe to our channel. We have fantastic stuff coming up, and some of it you've never seen before. I gotta go insult people. Hey Alice!